I never thought that I would see something come together like this, that just would sort of coalesce, I think that's a word, right? This sort of would come together, and it still hasn't come together, right? So we've got this infomercial business that does incredibly well. That creates this lead program and creates these famous brands that you can talk about on Facebook and Instagram. I had breakfast this morning with 10 coaches that qualified for a breakfast last March, and it was just fascinating to hear the stories that it's not necessarily the program that does the best for them isn't necessarily the one that's doing the best on TV. It's the one that they're doing. Vital behavior number one, right? Be the proof the product works. That was sort of the general theme. That's the one that had the most success in selling. So, that infomercial business helps a little bit, but the network business is this business unto itself, where you guys offer the opportunity to get results that the person who does the program or attempts the program off of TV has nowhere near the likelihood of success. And in fact, we've been talking at the company, vital behavior number 3 is personal development. And so I'm reading this book, Change Anything, right now, which is by the same people that do another one of my favorite books, Influencer. And in Change Anything, they talk about the vital behaviors, they talk about crucial moments. And what's interesting about listening to the coaches talk about their success with promoting their own struggles, their authenticity with the program, and how that attracts people to them is, we thought that TV would be much more important to the network. We thought that was going to be, how you would get leverage. But in fact, you're showing that by supporting people, you're getting them through these things that they talk about in Change Anything, crucial moments where it's likely that you might fail. So when we look back at this opportunity, and I'm saying infomercials, network marketing, and now we have the certification business that's growing, what we call Beachbody Live. I look at the way these 3 things are coming together, and they've all got a life of their own. And what did $1 billion in sales last year, I can now see for the first time in my life, and I just, for a second, if you can put yourself in my shoes, I was a guy, I can remember talking to John about, we had this goal of a $100 million company, and now I'm looking at this thing and I'm going, it's health and fitness problem, obesity problem, healthcare industry is a multi-trillion-dollar a year business, companies spend less than, I think it's $7 billion a year on wellness. Insurance companies have a real problem in the gap between the wellness activities of their insured people and what it's costing them. So they've got a real problem that insurance companies have to solve. Companies have to solve this, but we as human beings need to find a way to solve this if we want to get the most out of life and not just eat, drink, and be merry our way through life. So there's like this opportunity that transcends $1 billion and has this it has $3 billion. It has like $5 billion. This has like $10, $20 billion a year of potential, and I'm not even talking outside of the US and Canada. So I look at the way these 3 businesses are sort of shaping, and I hear people go, well, you got customer service issues, you got technology issues, you got fulfillment issues, and I go, yeah, guess what else we got? We got traction as the first company in decades that is really getting people healthy. And that's because of you. That's because of your belief and your prioritization, your understanding that, let's imagine, got the thing, that the company is behind me. 741 people as of Monday, okay? 741 people just like you, meaning human beings, went through school, some of them went to college, all of them trying to make a living, all of us trying to organize this big company to support these 200 and something thousand coaches, almost 300,000 coaches, and figure out how to do it in an ecosystem with 3 disparate systems, meaning infomercial or direct marketing, network marketing. These two things support each other really well, and now we're starting to see the support from the Beachbody Live business as being something that takes those brands and puts them in gyms, because the average is with gyms, and how these two businesses are going to work so well together is people would still like a social experience with their fitness, but they're not going to do it every day. So they can work out at home thanks to the support of the network and Facebook and social and these challenge groups, but they can also plug into the experience at the gym and get a social experience that those two things now have synergy. And we're starting to see these things come together and launching them in a way that's synergistic, that transcends whatever we could have imagined. I said at the beginning of the year in Surge, I drew this example of the most trusted professions. I talked about doctors and nurses and pharmacists being and dentists being the most trusted professionals in a community. And even this morning when I had my breakfast, there was 2 hygienists, a nutritionist, and a pharmacist. I think those were the 4 sort of allied professions that were there at breakfast out of the 10 people that were there. So here are people who are trained, and a teacher. So it's interesting to see this movement of people who got into industries to help people and to serve people, and are now drawn to this idea of being a Team Beachbody coach. And in North America, I think it's close to 5 million people occupy the professions of those most trusted 25 professions in the community, but there is not a thing that exists like a coach. So when I look at this business, I look at $1 billion last year, really 500 million of that was from the network, and I see we've just gotten started. We are only limited by our creativity. The stories that I heard this morning and I heard last night in our Elite 10 dinner of the ingenuity, that's a word, ingenuity? Yes. It was time change. The ingenuity that our coaches are having of deploying the ideas that we create at corporate. And we come up with these things, so 3-day refresh we thought would be something really great to kick off a program. And then it started to become this thing that people do every month. I'm doing one starting Monday. Who's in with me? Woo! All right, love it. Quesadillas outside, 10 minutes. Let's do it. Jeez. Ironically, I have yet to really have cheese on this trip, and I'm very disappointed. I thought, kind of in Hawaii, they give you the Hawaiian leg. You come to Cancun, they're supposed to put a cheese ring around your neck. That's the deal. Hola, gracias por mi cheese. Okay. So as this business starts to come together, the limitations that can, if you look at it in a cynical way, and you go, oh, that thing's broken. And I asked this morning to the coaches, I said, look, none of the coaches there had any background in network marketing. And so I said, do you now come across that pyramid scheme thing that feel icky? And Melanie Mitchell, our top coach, said, I really don't even feel like this is network marketing. This feels like we're helping people. We're promoting challenge groups. We get people in it. Then they realize when they post their results that people can make money from it. They're like, I'd like to make some money. So they get involved in it, but they don't get involved in it in a way that is, hey, I'm having a bunch of people over to my living room to present them a business opportunity. Why don't you come over and bring a checkbook? It's not pitched that way, which is sort of the MLM model. Instead, it's being pitched in a way of, I want to help you achieve your goals to lead a healthy, fulfilling life. And by the way, as you start to see results, if you want to get a discount on this, you can become a coach, and as you start to promote it, you'll see that other people will want to be involved with you. And so that model, in a country with 300 million people, and or a continent with close to 350 million people, we've got the opportunity to create this a career that didn't exist before. So, I see posts, Amy had a great post yesterday, Amy Silverman, one of our top 10, where she's like, you were sort of way a little in the background of this giant room, and she's like, why doesn't everybody do this? That's the way I feel, like so you're helping people and you're inspiring them, and you've got the bandwidth now to get in shape and stay in shape. It's one of your vital behaviors. Be the proof the product works. And the other one is invite. And by invite, we mean connect with people and help people. What an incredible job. And as I learned this morning, one of the most important things, what we call a vital behavior of personal development, is not just this little thing that we tagged on. The people around that table were like, the personal development is the thing that is making my business great. It's the thing that differentiates this from my other job, where that other job is clock in, do the work, go home, repeat. And this job is about how can I get better? How can I be better? How can I help people better? How can I overcome things? Like, that is an outrageous opportunity that you would get paid to do these three things.